Hey guys, so remember the cheap pit bike slash trail bike challenge that we're doing? Well, there's the old 1990 YZ250, and you're probably wondering what's that have to do with it? You're supposed to be doing trail bike slash pit bike. Well, I offered a guy this YZ250 for his YZ80. He's currently on his way here. So maybe next clip here, as we get done talking, you'll see a YZ80 sitting there instead of the old 250. But if you remember, I did a fresh top end on it, new gasket seals, radiators, radiator hoses, and fluids and that, and she runs pretty good. But I just don't use it as much, and I have two other ones that I would like to work on anyways, and this kind of gives me a reason. If I get rid of this one, then I have to put another one together, and therefore we'll have another YZ250 to ride. But it's been good. I mean, I don't ride it that much. I'll ride like half hour, 40 minutes at a time. And but she rips. She does rip. I just took her out and made sure she was running good. She does. So, but yeah, she'll probably be going down the road here, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright guys, I know the next time I said we'd be talking in the garage at the farm if we got this bike, but here we are, we're down at the house, and we got the YZ. So this is not an 03 YZ85, this is an 01 YZ80. And I checked the VIN, found out what year it is. It's a 2001 YZ80. But they're basically the same thing. From 93 to I think 2018, it's basically the same motor. When they transferred this to an 85, the main difference was this clutch cover. They made it a two-piece, so you have the original clutch cover, but this part here could be removed, so the face of it. Also, they moved the oil fill from here to, I do believe, right here. So I'm going to upgrade this cover to an 85, because that's what I want. I want to be able to take just the clutch cover off to get to the clutches, not the whole thing. Other than that, basically this whole thing is exactly the same. The plastics obviously change over the years. These style plastics are from 93 to 01. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and get those. Get the same color scheme. These should be white. And then blue will be a white number plate up here. Blue fender and front fender, and then side shroud for the gas tank that covers the radiator. I haven't decided if I want to upgrade the front fender to a newer style or leave it that way. That way it matches the YZ 426. And yes, I got the old WR and the YZ 426, and then beside that, that's probably outside the picture, is the YZ 05 YZ 450. The WR and YZ have all new parts. They're sitting here, upgrade parts, bearings and seals, and just some upgraded stuff, foot pegs and skid plates and stuff like that, filters. So those are going to get updates. And then the YZ 450, it needs a full rebuild, and I got the cylinder head, piston, and gaskets for it. I need a bottom end rebuild yet for it, so hopefully this year we get to it. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's already been sitting here for, I don't know, 5 years, believe it or not. The WR, I tore the WR and the YZ down last year and ordered all the parts, and I went out of town, so I haven't got to them. But going back to this guy, because that's what this video is about. So, but back to this, we'll be tearing it down. We'll be taking the seat off, the gas tank off, the radiator, and the hoses, and then we'll be taking this cover off and seeing what's going on in there. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take this drain bolt for the coolant and this one for the gearbox. and take those out, let the coolant and the gear oil drain out. That way when we set this bike up on the stand, we take this clutch cover off, we're not getting it all over the place. As you can see, there was hardly any fluid in there, and when I got this off that kid, he did say that first thing I should do is change the fluids. Well, like I thought, he was already in here trying to throw this thing together. See, like I said, if you lean the bike over, you kick it, there it goes. But just proves that he was throwing it back together just to make the trade, but I already knew kind of what I was getting into, so, and I already knew what I was going to do with this bike, so. Alright, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and strip this thing down. Alright, so that didn't take very long to tear it down to this point. Like I said, you could obviously tell he had literally threw this back together to try to get rid of it. And when people don't know what they're doing, they make mistakes. And when you rush, also you make mistakes. Well, these clutch baskets, this whole clutch basket, pressure plates and all that are loose as can be because they didn't line this up correctly. So when you pull it out, it's already coming out, and that's what was catching the inside of the clutch cover, which there's no damage there. But when I roll this guy around, right there, there's our broken ear, which you could run this. You can easily run this clutch basket, but we have a new one. We're going to put it in. So we'll keep this and probably just get rid of it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not even keep it, but I got a new pressure plate from Yamaha. So we got a new pressure plate. We'll put that on along with the outside clutch basket. We'll reuse the clutch boss as long as it looks good. But yeah, we'll go ahead and tear this off, get this taken off so we can take a look. You can tell this must have been apart for a little while because there's some rust on the gears here. We're going to go ahead and change the crank seals out while we're in here also. And we need to figure out why there's something wrong here too. They obviously didn't put something back. And when I was tearing this apart, there's a little washer sitting on the back caliper, and that's probably part of that. So we'll have to pull up a diagram and see what parts are missing so we can get them ordered. Well, we might go ahead and just get a new crank because that nut came off and messed up those threads. Man, that bearing is out. It doesn't. Okay. It has been apart one other time. As you can see, I got the motor completely pulled out of this frame and I got it on the bench. I went ahead and just started tearing it down. Those Chinese cylinders, they actually look really decent. The pistons, give or take, like I said, we've ran Chinese top ends on the PW80 and the Blaster and they're still going strong. But as I started tearing into this, I noticed there's some play in the crank here and that bearing had play. So I'm like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and tear it down. I got a new Wiseco crank assembly and bearings coming for there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bearings in the transmission. We're gonna get this transmission pulled out. We'll do some cleaning up on the gears, get this little bit of rust off. It appears to me that they possibly had this apart at one time. There's water sitting right here. Not saying the water got in there because they had this apart, but it could have got in here because they didn't put any new case bond in there. But other than that, the cases look like they're in really good shape, and we'll get them all cleaned up. I got zip ties on the transmission so I can pull this out and set it on that rag right there. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and basically, I mean, it will be a full rebuild, so we'll see what happens. Welcome back, guys. So as you've seen from the last video, we went ahead and tore into this motor and found out there was a lot more stuff wrong with it than we originally thought. Even with a running motor and not sounding like it was clapped out, it was clapped. So we got the bottom end split. We got all new bearings for the transmission, crank, seals, gaskets, new crank, new piston, new top end, you know, cylinder and that. So it's going to be basically a brand new motor. We got a bunch of goodies for this. I think it's going to turn out pretty nice once we're done with it, and hopefully she wins that cheap pit bike challenge. But we also have this RT 100 here, so we are also going to fix this one up and take it with us. That way if someone wants to come and they don't have one, we have an extra, or essentially just an extra bike to play around on, and that in case someone breaks down. Maybe this one doesn't last and actually blows up, or just we have too many issues with it, or same with someone else. At least we'll have another one. But with this one, believe it or not, it sat for about 3 years, and I put the gas hose in the gas can of the YZ80 in here, and she fired up after a couple dozen kicks. But I forgot how loud this thing was without the silencer, and I will show a clip of it running. It's obnoxiously loud. So we have a silencer coming. We found one. It was either off a MX100 or a DT100. The DT, the MX, and these RTs are the same motor. So from just say 76 all the way to 2000, they're the same motor, just different names. So, but yeah, this one, we got a new tube for the rear, seals. We got to fix the rear brake lever, fix the shifter, and petcock, and a few other odds and ends. Unfortunately, I cannot find any remake plastics for this thing, and I'm not buying used ones that are all tore up for $300. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our own out of some leftover plastics that I've had from other bikes. We'll see what works and retrofit something. That way you're not getting mud up your back, and it might make it look a little better. But went ahead and put degreaser on both bikes. They've been sitting for a little bit with the degreaser, so hopefully cleanup goes well. And that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Alright, now that we pressure washed these, we'll still have to do a little bit of elbow grease on this frame here. And then maybe right around the kicker when we go to change out the seal, there might still be some. But for the most part, we got the heavy part of it. We'll go ahead and put this one back inside, because this one we're going to finish up before we attack this. But I will go ahead and start this one up so you can hear how nauseously loud it is. Alright, you guys ready for this? Oh my. And nauseously loud. Alright guys, we're going to wrap this video up. We've got the cases sitting here ready to go in the oven to try to get the bearings to come out. If they don't fall out, we got tools to remove them. But after that, we'll get the cases cleaned up and get them prepped to receive all these new parts we got for it. But I appreciate you guys watching the video, and I'll catch you guys next time.